Design process book. Today we're going to cover what is a design process book, what should it include, what format should it take, what tools can I use to create it, how many pages should it be, and finally how should I label and save it. So, what is a design process book? Well, it's a collection of design related work that includes annotations that describe the process and the outcomes. In this module, the design process book is part of your digital portfolio, which also includes your design artifacts and your media kit. The aims of the design process book are to demonstrate your design process in a logical and clear manner and to present the story of a design process and its outcomes. So, what should it include? Your brief tutor will guide you on their expectations. However, in general, the design process book includes evidence of research, ideation, development, realization, and a short summary reflection of what you've learned. Each brief is different, so please confirm with your brief tutor what they expect to see. And to follow this up, as an important note, some brief tutors may prefer to combine your design process book with your design artifacts into a single document for ease. They will tell you if they want this. If in doubt, just ask. So, what format should it take? It could be as simple as a set of photographed physical sketchbook pages with your final design artifacts collated into a single PDF document. Or it could be a designed document created in Microsoft PowerPoint or Adobe InDesign and exported as a PDF document. Your brief tutor may suggest a preferred format for your work. I'm now going to show you a couple of examples. Just as a pointer, these are second year student portfolios. This one is an excellent example, and it shows a clear process from the initial design research through to the final design. And just note that the style of the actual process book is really simple. It's just black and white, and all the images do the talking, and so it has a good mix of hand-drawn sketches and digital work. And as you can see throughout the pages that I've shown you, of which there are 24, each page is annotated with students' reflections as they progress through the project, and then a set of final reflections at the end. Here are some selected pages from another second year student's process book. As you can see here, particularly in the middle pages, they've evidenced their experimentation and testing of a kind of a folding format for their particular book design. And towards the end, they've inserted their hero images to show evidence of the final design artifact, which illustrates their solution. Here are a few tips. Keep the layout simple. As you can see from the previous examples, they're just black and white documents with a sans serif typeface. They probably follow a simple grid system, so if you know how to use one, use it. Keep your font choice and typographic neutral and consistent. You don't want your font choice to give too much character that might be at odds with what you're trying to achieve with your work. Do not over design it. No funky templates that overpower your work. So whilst you might think your work needs dressing up to make it look more professional, I would caution against it, because we can obviously see when the work perhaps lacks a little finesse, and no amount of fancy templates will disguise that from us. And also it gets in the way of the work. We want to see your work, not the prowess of the design template that you've picked. So remember, your work should be the hero, not the style of your document. So, what tools can I use to create it? Well, we're relatively relaxed about what tools you use in this module. By the time you complete your design degree, many of your courses will have preferred ways of documenting um, your development work. Adobe InDesign is one of the most popular tools for doing this. However, if you're not familiar with InDesign, please don't try and learn it in a night. We don't need to add any more stress to what you're doing, so use a tool that you're comfortable with. Suggested tools are Microsoft PowerPoint, Google Slides, Adobe Illustrator, Canva, and again, I caution against pick a template that's really straightforward and simple. Some of you may be used to using Figma. Uh, um, that also allows you to create slides too. You can use Adobe Acrobat Professional to combine a variety of images and documents as an alternative. So if you feel like you've got absolutely no skills in putting documents together, and you've got a brilliant sketchbook, you can simply take photos of those and create, and we can use Adobe Acrobat Professional to take those photographs and with a couple of slides, perhaps one with your title page and one with a summary at the end, we can add those to those photographs and create one Adobe Acrobat PDF. As I said before, you can use InDesign. We've produced a template that you can use. It has some kind of placeholder images, but you can design the layout exactly how you like. It also includes a couple of sample pages, or should I say example pages, and there's also one that's been produced in Microsoft PowerPoint. This one's by Donna Leishman, who's working on the biodesign brief. She's also illustrated it with examples, and my Adobe InDesign template follows her example. Again, as I said a little bit earlier, if you've got absolutely no skills in this area and you have a bunch of images of your beautiful sketchbook, then you can actually use Adobe Acrobat to combine these into a PDF document. So as I've ringed here, if you would open up Adobe Acrobat Professional, which comes with Adobe CC, you can click on the Create button, and then you would click Multiple Files, and then when you click the next button here, it'll open up and you can just add all the files that you want. Just kind of a one word of caution that that it is a little bit restrictive on file types. It's pretty open. So this one I've created here contains a mix of photos of a sketchbook and some media kit images, and I've actually just created a title page in Word, saved as a Microsoft Word document, and another one at the end that has my reflection. And then once you've you can import those, and it'll create a document like this. And if you need to reorder the pages, you can go to Organize Pages and do that. And I think I've just ringed it here. So under the Tools menu, Organize Pages is one of the options. You can go to Organize Pages and you can drag your pages into the order that you want. And you can also insert additional images or pages by clicking on the kind of three ellipses here, and then you will get the chance to insert from file. So that's a really easy way of creating a PDF document. You just save this out as a PDF and then you're good to go. So how many pages should it include? Well, we're saying a minimum of 16 pages, including the title page. That's roughly 2 pages per week that you've worked on the project, so that shouldn't be too testing. Think of each page as approximately A3 in size. We don't want one image per page. So it should, we're not saying it should exactly be A3 in size, but just think of what you could fit on an A3 sketchbook page, and that is kind of the size that we would recommend. So we expect a reasonable amount of content on each page. no single images per page, unless it's perhaps the final hero image. You might want to do that. If you want single images per page, then I think you've got to be prepared to create an awful lot more pages than 16. We're looking for a kind of a reasonable amount of content. Again, we haven't set a maximum number of pages, but please curate your submission. We don't need to see every single sketch that you have made on this project. So, kind of finally, how should I say label and save it? Create a title page, which should include the brief title and your name. You can include the module code and name if you like, and other details as you wish. It's your design, your document. So as long as we know what brief you did and your name, that's the most important thing. Save the file, and again, I'd like this to follow the kind of naming convention that I've previously given, and I'll remind you this when you get to upload your files. Save it with the module code on, which is DE4022, and then your name, and then what it is. It's the process book. I use hyphens to rather than single space characters between each word as kind of a part of a kind of a process I've always used. And try and keep your file size to less than 15 megabytes ideally. We're not going to stress if it's like 75 or 80 or whatever it would be, but if you're producing a document that's like a gigabyte, you know it's too big. So you're going to need to sort of make sure when you save it out that you save it. There are various saving settings in PDFs. You can save it for screen, which is absolutely fine for our purposes, which will create a much smaller file. So we don't need to see 300 dpi images for every single image in your document. So as I say, as a rule of thumb, try and keep it under 50 megabytes. I'm not going to stress if it's 100 or 125, but if it's getting towards 200 plus, then I would say it's too big. It'll take you too long to upload, and it'll take us a lot of time to download as well. So if you've got any questions, you can email me, jamie.steen@northumbria.az.uk, or speak to your brief tutor, who will give you more fine-tuned details about what they expect to see for your brief.